All right, everyone. Looks like we are streaming. Hopefully, you can hear me. Alrighty, I had to reload it, so I'm hoping that everyone can hear me and that we are loving life. So, if anyone's live, go ahead and let me know you can hear me. That's important. Otherwise, I'll have to redo this all over again. Kathy Pettis here, and we are here once a month at the end of the month. So whether that's the 31st, the 30th, doesn't matter. 28th, last month. So Kathy Pettis here, your yoga instructor and fellow female activist. And I come here live once a month for now, and we go through yoga. Okay, whether that's a clinic, meaning that I'm teaching you something about yoga, or we're actually going to flow. In this case, today we are actually flowing, but it is still a clinic. I thought it'd be really helpful, again, because this is more for the beginner, okay, someone who's new to yoga, yoga curious, if that's the way you want to say it. And so I figure what I wanted to do was make sure that I made this very accessible. Okay, so today, this is part one of a three-part series, and this is all about the sun salutations. So sun salutations are definitely what you'll see um, as you start any yoga practice. And there are three of them, A, B, and C. So today we're only going to concentrate on Sun Salutation A. And that is simply because I don't want to overwhelm you. And basically, what you can think about it this way is that you can go into any yoga practice and you'll probably see A, B, and C at any given time. A, okay, is one that basically you consider the vinyasa. And so if you ever go to a vinyasa class, you're going to see this consistently. And since it is how you warm up your body, it's okay that you're not warmed up. Okay, so we will go through this, and I'll explain that later. But first, because this is something I want you to be calm about, okay, you just hopefully require a safe space, okay, that's quiet, so you can be in your body, and preferably, if you want, you can have a mat, depending on where you're going to practice. And that's pretty much it. So, yes, this you just require your body. Um, be kind to yourself and know, what your body requires. No props are required other than the mat, right? And just be open. Okay. We are going to, so let me back up. We are going to have some positive quotient repetitions, PQ reps right now. And then at the end, instead of a shavasana, I will close it with namaste, but just know that, I'll be happy to answer any questions, so forth and so on. But we won't necessarily have what some people would know as shavasana. Shavasana is basically how every yoga uh, class should end, technically, and that is corpse pose, where you're laying down and you're basically gaining all of the benefits of your yoga practice, right? So in this case, this is just a clinic. And so, yes, we'll be flowing, but you'll see at the end how I'll at least fit in the namaste. So with that, we are going to go ahead, however you want to be, laying down, sitting, standing, doesn't matter. We're going to use our positive quotient repetitions or PQ reps, just so that we can get centered. Okay, so, and yes, it would happen even if we didn't use PQ reps as we're going to be flowing, but I want us to start in such a way that we feel safe, and then I want to give you one pose extra so that you could get into it if in fact you need it. And that's why I want to be on the ground. So with that all explained, we can go ahead and get started. So feel free to close your eyes if you feel safe. Okay. And with the tall spine, again, whether you're sitting, laying down, elongate that spine. And I want you, because we'll be concentrating on our breath, I want you to actually just notice your breath without changing it. Let your breath just happen. And notice what parts of your body move with your breath. Is your breath slowing down? as you concentrate on it. And now I actually do want you to think about how our breath is going to help us move. So this time, I want you to go ahead and take some deep breaths in and then exhale with a sigh with your mouth. Here we go. Inhale, fill up your lungs, and then exhale with a sigh, an audible sigh. Inhale, inhale a little more, and then exhale with a sigh. Go ahead and take a few more on your own, exhaling with a sigh. When you're ready, go ahead and blink open your eyes. So now that we're in our bodies, okay, we can feel ourselves more centered. Um, while, okay, a vinyasa is how you warm up your body, i.e., Sun Salutation A, okay, has what you would probably be familiar with as a vinyasa, okay? So you're going to recognize these. All of these poses, Sun Salutation A, B, and C, are all poses that you have probably come in contact with at some form. So these are very familiar. That's because they're foundational. These are what make up the different forms of yoga. Okay. So with that, I will show you one pose though that's not part of the vinyasa, but I want you to know what it is. So child's pose. Child's pose is basically a resting pose and it feels awesome. But I also want you to feel free at any moment, okay, during this time with me, that if you feel like you get to rest, then you will. So, two ways to get into child's pose, and I want to make sure that you can see my feet. So, you can be in tabletop, okay, but all you're doing is you're bringing your knees together, feet together, um, um, feet are facing down, okay, and then the tops of your feet are facing down. And then you're just going to send your bum back so that you're on your heels. Okay. And then you can go ahead and send your front down. Okay. Your arms are coming forward. And you can have your hands nice and spread, the fingers. Okay. Or you can have them teepeed, doesn't matter. But technically, you can have your head, your forehead resting as well if it gets there. If it doesn't, that's okay too. You can be here. Okay, but this is also part of child's pose. So again, it's a resting pose and it's perfectly okay to get in there. If you want to have even, let's say, more space in your hips, you can actually, I'm going to turn my this way. You can touch your toes together, okay, and then send your bum back. And then now you have a wide child's pose. Okay, let's see if you can see it better this way. Child's pose again is all about rejuvenation. It's like resting, and it feels great. I will say that if you're going to be in wide child's pose, make sure that you always have your hands, okay, out so that they can brace so that you don't hit your nose. That's not fun. It can happen. When your knees are together in child's pose, your chest is sitting on them. So you're pretty okay to have your hands away from your face, right? And that's not going to hurt anything. But when your legs are wide, yeah, you want to make sure your hands are all out and bracing for you. All right. So, Sun Salutation A. We are going to go through 4 rounds, which means you're going to see Sun Salutation A 4 times. What the difference is going to be is that each time, okay, so we're going to go ahead and stand up. Each time you're going to see something a little different. And that's because I'm going to show you Sun Salutation A from what we consider, if you want to call it beginner, I look at it more as just modifications. Okay, so we're going from one modification to another, and then we're building upon it until we get to the more traditional version. Okay. Uh, we will have 2 rounds of modifications. And then if you so choose, you can go into the more traditional version. All right. But it's what your body wants. Okay. What feels good in your body. So, with that, okay, all of that said, we are going to start. So, 2 rules, okay. Um, Yoga is usually practiced with your big toes, okay, touching, and then a little space between your heels. Well, if it was just men who created, and I think it is, right? Men, although women practiced yoga, females, when it was created, men have a lot more narrow hips than females, right? Males have very narrow hips. So this movement or this stance is okay for them. But for females, we have hips. We have wide hips. So in traditional yoga, even in the traditional one, I'm going to be with hip width. Okay, so these are your hips. This is not your hip, all right, width. This is hip width. Okay, your bones are right here for your hips. So an easy way to know that you have about the right width is put your fists together, okay, facing each other, and then generously bend your knees, and then put them between your feet, okay? And they don't have to be like totally great, but get a good measurement. And that technically is hip width for you. Okay. So everyone's going to be different, right? But this is the stance I want you to always have. Okay. Um, it's just more forgiving for females, at least. And there are going to be times when I'm going to tell you to put your toes together, but more times than not, you're going to be, again, hip width. Okay. Whether it's traditional or not. All right. So I'm going to turn a little bit more this way so that it's easier to see me at the side. Alrighty, so again, we're going through 4 rounds, okay, 4 rounds of Sun Salutation A. The first 2 rounds are going to have what we call modifications, and then the last 2 will be more traditional, all right, with our hip width stance, and you are free to use whichever version you want. Alrighty, so with that, you should be standing now, okay. We want to have, again, hip width, and we want our feet on the same plane, so not one, more further than the other. And we want to roll back our shoulders, okay? I want you to think always of having that long, tall spine, okay? That's going to help. I'm going to throw in different dual actions, okay? You can go back to the very first video for the dual actions, but the one dual action I'll probably keep over and over sharing is the one where your core, okay, so your belly button is going to go towards your spine and your front ribs are going to jet down. Why is that? Because I want your back to be as neutral as possible, right? So that's the dual action I'll probably harp on the most. They'll throw other ones in there, right? But for now, we are going to concentrate on our feet. So the dual action of your feet, which is that we're in Tadasana, which is the first pose of Sun Salutation A. You want to feel all 4 corners of your feet digging into the mat. Okay, you want to feel grounded. Then go ahead, lift your toes. Oh my goodness, that should make you really feel like you can feel your legs now. Spread those toes. Okay, spread them as best you can. It's really difficult if you don't ever try it. And then go ahead and place those toes that are still spread back on the floor. Now you should actually feel yourself feel taller, okay? That's the magic of Mula Bandha right here. It pulled you up, right? That pelvis seemed to come up. This is Tadasana. Your hands are by your side, okay? You're nice and tall. Your chest isn't jetting. The ribs are knitted and your belly button is to your spine. Next pose, we're going to inhale, but first we want to turn out our palms, okay? And we're going to inhale our arms up, 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 up. And we're going to go only towards till we get to a Y. Okay, so we're in a Y. Now, okay, think about your belly button still nice towards your spine. and the knitted ribs. Okay, that's going to help you from jutting out and arching your back. This is a modification. Okay, so just so you know, so extended mountain pose. This is extended mountain pose. Keep those ears away from your shoulders. Okay, and relax your jaw. Go ahead, bring your hands as close as you can to each other, and then bring them into prayer. Exhale down. Put a really big bend in your knees so that your chest actually stops on your knees. Okay, bring your hands to the sides. You're going to inhale, and this is Uttanasana or forward fold. Okay, then you're going to exhale. You're going to keep your knees bent, and you're going to have your hands on your shins. The idea is to have a flat back. Okay, so hands on your shins. This is half forward fold. Okay. Now the fun part. We are going to go into a plank. Okay. So you're going to really need to keep that navel in and that definitely your ribs knitted. You're going to put your hands down, okay, by your feet. And then you're going to send your left foot back, okay, and then the right. Now you're in plank. Now you're going to shift on your tippy toes so that your shoulders are over your wrist. Bring the knees down, knees down. And then again, with the navel nice and towards your spine, I want you to keep your elbows towards your ribs. And then you're going to go ahead and send yourself down, 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 down. This is a modified version of chaturanga. Okay. Ooh, so you can see me. Yeah. Okay. Now go ahead and lift your legs one at a time so that your feet are nice and level. Okay. And that the front of your feet are, facing down. Now we're going to go into what is called baby cobra. Okay, baby cobra. So your hands should be underneath your shoulders. Okay, right now your chest should be up. Okay, your hands, you should be able to lift them. Okay, you should still stay up even if the hands go up. So breathe, go ahead and inhale, and then exhale out. Baby cobra. Okay. Then what we're going to do is using the power of your hands to push away, you're going to get into tabletop and then you're going to push back. So here we go. Inhale, hands ready to push. Go ahead, push back. You're going to be in tabletop, but then keep your hands where they are and send your knees, okay, right, send your torso back. Okay, so your bum is going towards your knees again, like in child's pose. This time, what I want you to do is to go ahead and your feet are flexed, right? And then I want you to bring your knees up, but keep them bent. Okay, this is now downward facing dog. Knees bent is more important than the heels on the floor. Okay, so I want you to think about a straight back. That's what's important, the straight back. Okay, you should think about your dual actions of your hands and your arms. Okay, trying to get towards the midline. This is again downward facing dog. We're going to take a few breaths. Go in and exhale with a sigh. Inhale and exhale. Now go ahead and bring your feet together. You can even go a little forward with the feet. Keep the knees bent, and then looking towards your hands, go ahead and send the left foot forward and then the right. All right. Now we're going to inhale into, with the knees bent, into forward fold again. I'm sorry. We're going into the shins. You want to have your shins you want to have your hands on your shins into half forward fold. Okay, sorry about that. Then forward fold. Inhale. And then go ahead, exhale as we come up back into extended mountain pose. Rip those ribs, knit those ribs and the belly button in. Okay, remember this is a wide. Okay, extended mountain pose. Then bring your hands together in prayer. Bring your hands down back to your sides. And that, my friends, was one round of Sun Salutation A. Now, the second round, okay, instead of baby cobra, we're going to move into cobra. You can stay with baby cobra, but we're going to go ahead and move up to cobra. All right, so we're back in Tadasana. All right, Tadasana. And we're still, again, hips width, right? So nice shoulders back, ribs knitted, navel towards your spine. We're going back. We're in Tadasana. We're going to go back into extended. Inhale. Arms can be wide. Then go ahead, bring them together. In prayer, we're going to again exhale down. Keep those nice bent knees so your chest is on them. Back into forward fold. Then we're going to have our shins come, our hands on our shins into half forward fold, right? Then, once again, we're going to go into plank. So we're going to put our hands down. Right foot goes back, then left. Now we're in plank. Shift forward on your tippy toes. Your shoulders should be over your wrist. Knees down. Put those feet back on the flat on the floor. And then with your elbows nice and close, this is technically chaturanga. Come down all the way. And you can see me, yes. Okay. So now, again, you can go with baby cobra, or you can put your hands closer to the lower ribs on either side. Make sure your elbows are nice and tight by your body. And on the inhale, you want to go ahead and you can keep your arms bent or elbows bent. Okay. This is cobra, or all the way. This is cobra. Okay. So this is cobra. Now we're going to go send our bum back. Inhale with the bum back and looking at your hands, then at your feet. Keep those knees bent and you're going to lift the bum once again into downward facing dog. Okay. Again, keep those knees bent. It's more important that your back is straight. Don't worry about your feet, the heels touching the ground. Okay. A few breaths here. If you need to take a child's pose, do it. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Go ahead, bring those feet one step further, push them together, put them together. Keep your knees bent, look forward. This time your right foot comes forward, then your left. Okay. Keep those knees bent. Then we're going to go into a half back. All right. And then forward fold. Nice generous bend. And then now get those hands up for extended mountain pose. Okay. And then we're going to bring the hands together in prayer. Once again, back down to your side. That was round 2. All right. So we've made it through the more modifications. Now we're going to look towards more traditional. Okay. So this is round 3 of Sun Salutation A. All right. So we're not going to, you can stay with baby cobra or cobra, but now what you're going to see is you're going to see us go into chaturanga after that plank. Okay. Really quickly. And then we're going to go into upward facing dog. All right. But you can stay with the previous versions. All right. Here we go. Go ahead. Take those shoulders back. Turn your palms out. This time, we're going to take an inhale up and we're going to have, if you can, take your arms right by your ears. Okay. Knit those ribs. Make sure the navel is nice and tight towards your spine. Shoulders away from your ears. This is the more traditional version of extended mountain pose. Your arm should be by your arm should be by your ears. Go ahead if you can, look up. Touch those hands together in prayer. Bring and exhale down. Feel free to keep your knees bent if you wish, or take the more traditional version of Uttanasana or forward fold, okay? And think about your heels, okay? All four corners of your feet should be um, nice and steady. Go ahead now and inhale to half forward fold. So in this case, you're going to have your fingertips on the floor if you can reach it. If not, then right here on the shins again. Again, it's about keeping that flat back, all right? Hands should be underneath your shoulders, okay? So now, again, you can go back into plank and then down into the slower chaturanga, or you can go to chaturanga with me, okay, after plank, and then we go into upward facing dog. So choose your pleasure. Put your hands down. We're going to move one foot, then the other. This is plank. Make sure you shift forward either way, and then come down into chaturanga. Now flip those feet over, and if you're coming with me, into upward facing dog. Make sure your shoulders are over your wrist, and belly button nice and in. And then now push, flip those feet over, and you're pushing down to come into downward facing dog. You would have done that through tabletop and then pushing your bum back if you were in cobra. Here, we are now in downward facing dog. Again, technically this is an inversion, and technically it is a resting pose, believe it or not. You can still have that generous bend in your knee if you want to try and get your heels down to the floor. That's fine, but it doesn't have to happen. Here, we're going to take a few breaths. If you want to take child's pose, go for it. Go ahead, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Go ahead and bring your feet up one little step, put them together, heels up, bend the knees, look forward. Go ahead and put your left foot forward, then the right. Now we're going into half back, okay? So you can have your fingertips on the floor or on the shins. Half back, inhale. Exhale to forward fold. Oh, it feels good. And then up. Inhale into extended mountain pose. Again, choose the wide or the more traditional version of the arms. Try to look up, touch your hands, come back into mountain pose. That was round 3. And now we are almost done. We are on the 4th round. This one will be a culmination. So we're going to actually flow pretty quickly. That third one was like a trial run, okay, to show you what it looks like from plank right into chaturanga into upward facing dog. Now it's going to be what you would consider a flow. Here we go. And you can choose whichever you want, okay? Here we go. Tadasana. Roll those shoulders back. Turn your palms out. Go ahead, take up extended mountain pose. Inhale, exhale with your hands into prayer. Uttanasana, choose your pleasure. Uttanasana. Extended, I'm sorry, half back. I always do that. Half back or half forward fold. Okay. Then you're going to go into plank, and then you choose which way you're going to chaturanga into the upper facing dog. So back, back. Make sure you always shift, okay, first before you fall down. Not fall down, but come down. Chaturanga. Flip those feet. Upward facing dog. Look forward, okay, shoulders back. Then flip your feet up into downward facing dog. You can take a child's pose if you wish. I'm going to let the inversion take its magic on us, or use its magic on us. Go ahead and breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Make sure you're not shrugging down, that your arms are nice and taut, okay? And that they're nice and firm, holding up your torso. Now let's go ahead. We're going to finish up. Bring our feet together. One step. Keep those heels up. Bend your knees. Look towards your hands. Your right foot comes forward. Then the left, we want to go ahead and take that half forward fold. Then we want to go into Uttanasana, forward fold. Okay. And then extended mountain pose. Bring those arms up overhead if you can. Look up towards your hands. Bring them back down. Hands in prayer and to your sides. And that, my friends, is Sun Salutation A. We'll go ahead and bring our hands into prayer. If you feel safe to do so, you can bring your hands to your third eye and then go ahead and bow in Namaste. That was fun. Congratulations. You, if you've never tried it before, just completed 4 rounds, okay, of Sun Salutation A. That was fabulous. I love Sun Salutation A. It's very much invigorating. And again, this is how you warm up your body. So if you weren't warm before, you should feel now, even maybe, your heart's a little running a little faster, right? Maybe your limbs, right, feel a little bit more flexible. That's the whole point. There are some, yoga flows that's all you're performing. You're practicing over and over again a sun salutation. So this is just again one of 3. So next month we'll learn sun salutation B. Okay, but I hope that was fun for you. I know that I do enjoy it very much. And yeah, any comments? Go ahead and throw those in and look forward to hearing from you. So for now, okay, we look forward to talking to you in the comments, but for now, take care, take charge, God bless.